I also read your book, A Pope and a President, which you wrote about a JP2 and Reagan. And I don't want to go into any detail about that other than I was just wondering if there's anything that stood out when you were doing that book, writing that book, something that stood out about John Paul II.
We should do a show just on that. Yeah, I mean, so much, so much. I mean, Fatima, and I mean, I'll say this, that book was so hard to write because I had so much in front of me. And I think it ended up related to Bob's point on having like this just massive project with all these words. It was about a 340,000 word manuscript, I think. It ended up being about a 700-page book.
Wow.
And it could have been even longer, right? So it was really hard to kind of decide what to keep out. But I spent probably 10 years on that. That was the project I couldn't walk away from because I kept learning more new information that I knew no one else knew. People from the Reagan administration telling me before they died, right? Things like, let me tell you about this secret report that no one's ever seen before. Right? We learned that the Soviets did it. The Soviets ordered the hit on the Pope. The Soviets tried to kill John Paul II. In fact, I'll tell you this, the person that I quote in that book, Chris, who says things like, it was the most secretive report that I've ever seen. We had to remove the eyeballs from the corpses of the people who read the report after we shot them, right? He was joking. We had to shoot the secretary after she typed the report, right? He was joking. That person was Herb Meyer. And Herb died quite tragically and quite unexpectedly about 2 years ago. And so I can now divulge that Herb was the source. But at the time of the book, I couldn't say that. He was Bill Casey's right-hand man at the CIA. And it was really Bill Casey and Bill Clark, two Irish Catholics. Who were the two most important figures in the Reagan administration, and coming up with the plan to undermine the Soviet Union. And also it was really the troika, if you will, to borrow from kind of Soviet speak. Bill Clark, Bill Casey, and Pio Laghi, the apostolic nuncio in Washington, who were the three conduits between the White House and the Vatican, between John Paul II and Ronald Reagan, in discussing what each side would do and could do to help facilitate the takedown of the Soviet Union.
We do have a question in chat, if you don't mind me interjecting, Chris. Teresa's in Canada, and she writes, can you make some comment between the warning of Our Lady of Fatima regarding communism?
Yeah, so she first appeared May 13th, 1917. John Paul II was shot on May 13th. 1981, and in fact he would read the third secret of Fatima just a few weeks later, July 18th, 1981, when Cardinal Sepper from the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith brought him the third secret of Fatima in the original Portuguese text and an Italian translation. In fact, John Paul II said to Cardinal Givich, who wasn't a cardinal at that point, he said, 2/13 of May. 2/13 of May, May 13th, 1917, May 13th, 1981. And he asked to see the third secret, and he sat there and he read it in Portuguese, he read it in Italian, and he said, this is it. This applies to me. This applies to me. The third secret applies to me. So it was, my battery's running low. I hope my battery doesn't die. Fatima predicted, the third secret predicted the apparent assassination, shooting, killing, death of the bishop that wears white. And the bishop that wears white is the Bishop of Rome, the Pope, John Paul II. The first time that I read about Fatima, I was a Protestant. And in fact, I didn't even know how to pronounce it. I said like Fatima or something, right? Probably is actually how they pronounce it over there. I don't know. But I was reading it and I thought, and it's funny, I was talking to Scott Hahn about this, and Scott, like me, is a Grove City College guy. We're very close. We're really good friends. And he was talking about being with his wife, Kimberly, when she was in about to give birth, right? She had a room. She hadn't been taken in yet to deliver the baby. But he said the TV was on, and I was watching the show on, I don't know if it was EWTN or whatever, and Scott wasn't even Catholic then. He said it was about Fatima. And he said, this is the exact same reaction I had. He said, I was fascinated. I couldn't take my eyes off it. So even though I wasn't Catholic, and normally would have shrugged off, kind of crazy Catholic stuff. But I watched this and I saw this and I saw the predictions and I heard about the witnesses, the 70,000 witnesses, and the miracle of the sun and the predictions. And I thought, this has got to be true. Who could make up something like this? And so Fatima was one of the things that kind of looped me in to all of that. And to find out that Reagan knew about Fatima, I write about Reagan and Fatima and a Pope and a president, and to watch all of that play out, that's a Pope and a president. I opened the book with May 13th, 1981, John Paul II being shot in St. Peter's Square. And then I drop back to May 13th, 1917, and then kind of go chronologically up through it. So I think that's the story of the 20th century. And yet it's not over, because as you know, the battle against evil continues, not just in the form of communism.